Let's do one more pinniped today. Let's do these ones, the sea lions. Now, sea lions are very abundant in the Puget Sound. A little bit more about why a little bit later. Let me give you some stats. The males are bigger than the females. The males are about 6 feet big. They weigh anywhere from 450 to 900 pounds. The female's going to be a little bit smaller. They're going to be about 4 feet to 5 feet big, weighing about 150 pounds. Now, unlike the harbor seal, they are very strong. They are very strong. They are very In fact, what they do is they live together in a big group. And that big group is called a rookery. A rookery is one guy with a whole bunch of females. Now, what they do is they bark. You've been to Golden Gardens. You've heard ar, 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 ar. Those are sea lions. These guys, what they're doing is they're barking in the rookery. What the guy is going to do is he's going to go ar, 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 ar. And what he expects is the girls to go ar, 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 ar. See, what he always wants to do is keep track of his rookery, know where all of his girls are. Now, what another male may do is the male may go up to the side of the rookery and go ar, 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 ar. And some females will go ar, 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 and may join his rookery. So they're always trying to steal and keep track of the females in the rookery. Has anybody been to the sea lion caves down in Oregon? The sea lion caves, you go down, you take this big elevator down, and there are thousands of sea lions. And in that group of thousands of sea lions, there's going to be hundreds of rookeries. It's super loud because the males are always barking to their females. Gotta keep track of its rookery. All right, I gave you some stats about these, but really, let's learn something about why there's a lot of them in the Puget Sound. See, there's two main groups of sea lions. There's stellar sea lions, and then there's California sea lions. No, you don't need to know the difference. Stellar sea lions, they have a little bit rounder front part of their head. Stellar sea lions are up in Russia and Alaska. And sometimes they come down into the Puget Sound. California sea lions, California. Sometimes they'll swim up to Oregon. Sometimes they'll swim up to Washington. Back in the day, it was very rare of them to come into the Puget Sound and try to get some food. And they may come into the Puget Sound, get some food, then they'll leave. They'll go back to California where it's nice and warm. Well, in the mid to late 1980s, this one male California sea lion came into the Puget Sound, found a great place to live, found the Ballard Locks. And there at the Ballard Locks, there's a lot of salmon coming up. So this thing was just going, oh, God, look at this, just going to eat salmon. It was a big male. I mean, it was 8 feet big. It was 800 pounds. And everybody started going down there watching it. In fact, they named it. They named it Herschel. Hey, have you seen Herschel? It's hanging out at the Ballard Locks. People would go down there. There he is, Herschel. Look, it got a salmon. Now, get a salmon. They just go out and just eat the salmon, and then go off on the land, just kind of sit there for a while, and then go out and get another salmon. It became this huge popular draw and stayed there for months. In fact, months turned into more months and turned into a year. Well, it was bad timing for Herschel. Because in the late 1980s is when the salmon population started going down. Started telling rednecks, hey, rednecks, the salmon population's going down. Now, you can only keep 1 salmon a day. It used to be 3. What? We can only keep 1? But Herschel's out there eating as much as he can. That's not fair. Herschel doesn't belong here. He's a California sea lion. Say, hey, there's this law. It's called the Marine Mammal Act. And then in the Marine Mammal Act, it's illegal to harm a marine mammal. But it doesn't belong here. It's eating our salmon, and the salmon population's going down. We got to get rid of this thing. I go, yeah. Yeah, I guess you're right. Let's try to get it back to California. How are we going to do it? Well, since it has ears, the first thing that they did is, hey, let's put some huge underwater speakers. Let's crank up the noise. Make it so loud that Herschel will go, oh, this is loud. I'm going back to California. Well, it didn't work. I guess Herschel liked it. Dang it. Hey, maybe it's not loud enough. They had these underwater M80s. They said, hey, next time Herschel comes up, light a couple of those. Throw them out there. There, that'll scare Herschel away. Herschel goes, no, this place is too good. I'm not leaving here. I'm going to eat some salmon. Dang it. Rednecks were saying, you got to kill this thing. You got to kill this thing. The government said, no, we can't. The Marine Mammal Act. But I tell you what we could do. Let's shoot it with rubber bullets. Every time it comes up, the rubber bullets wouldn't penetrate it, but it'd be hitting it. Yeah, get back to California. Herschel would just go, man, I'm not leaving. Ouch. Man, 1 year turned into 2 years. Okay, we got to do something. We got to get this. Let's do it. Well, they set up this big cage, and they put some salmon in it. Herschel fell for the bait. Herschel went in this big cage. They shut the door. Right there at the Ballard locks, there's the railroad tracks. They said, Herschel, we're putting you on the next train to California. They put him on. They sent his grass all the way down to San Francisco, where all the sea lions are. Hey, get out of here now. But before they let him go, they gave him an ear take. We know who you are, Herschel. Don't even think about coming back. Threw him out. You know what happened. 3 days later, Herschel came back. He found a great place to live. He goes, I'm going back to Ballard. Now what are we going to do? This is where KISW got involved. KISW, the redneck radio station, they heard about a similar situation over in Norway, where they had a sea lion problem. And then what they made is they made this huge underwater transient orca whale. Transient orca whales, they eat mammals. So they called Norway, said, hey, can we buy it? They raised a lot of money from the redneck listeners, and they bought it. And then they put it into the water there at the Ballard Locks, thinking that when Herschel would go on there, they go, whoa, there's an orca whale, I got to get out of here. In fact, it's still there. It's right here at the Ballard Locks. This is it, what they put in there. Wait a minute. I can tell why Herschel didn't fall for the bait. This thing doesn't even look like an orca whale. An orca whale is supposed to be 20 feet long. This thing's only 10 feet long. As I'm trying to tell you, it didn't work. So Herschel stayed there. They said, oh, we shipped it down. We tried to scare it away. Maybe we didn't send it far enough. So they captured Herschel. They put him on another train. And this time they put him even further south, all the way down to San Diego. Herschel, get out of here and stay down here. Herschel, on his way back to Ballard, which took him 5 days, did a little barking. He did a little barking, and he brought along 3 girls. Oh, we can't get rid of Herschel, people said. Now, let's embrace them. And now what they've done is they've made a sea lion haul-out platform, a little square floating dock out there by Ballard. And now Herschel and all of his descendants, all of his kids and their kids, they go right there. And it's all because of the first sea lion that came into the Puget Sound and made its home, named Herschel. There's a similar problem that's going on up the Columbia River. Sea lions are going up the Columbia River. There's up to 1,000 sea lions that go up the Columbia River. And what they do is they just hang out by the dams. And they jump up the fish ladders. And they wait for the salmon to come. And then they just eat them. Well, rednecks are thinking the same thing. We got to get rid of these. The population of salmon are going down. So they try to do everything. They try to scare them away with loud music, firecrackers, and rubber bullets, and it doesn't work. They capture them, and then they ship them down to California, and they just come back. Now what they do is they don't give them ear tags. They go up and with a hot iron, they brand them. Here, number. Come on, smartboard. Ah! Here, number C915, we know who you are. Well, here at the mouth of the Columbia, there's 6,000 sea lions right here. In Astoria, there get so many sea lions out on these docks that these docks actually sink. So, a similar situation is that they're becoming a problem. So, the state of Washington and state of Oregon has applied for permission to go against the Marine Mammal Act. And the Trump administration said, yes, you can. And they have permission to go out now and kill 150 sea lions a year. Okay. Hey, let me show you something. Hey everyone, the video that I made at school didn't turn out, I guess. So I have to do it here at home. There's one more pinniped I want to talk about, and that's these. Walruses. Gotta talk about the walrus a little bit. What I want you to know about the walruses is, what's up with their tusks? Both the males and the females has tusks, and they have a whole lot of whiskers. Why do they have their whiskers? What's their name? And I want you to know what they eat. Well, let's do what they eat first. They eat clams. And do they ever? They eat 6,000 clams a day. They eat clams like we eat sunflower seeds. Get them in their mouth, crack the shell, get the fleshy animal out, spit out the clam shell. 6,000 clams a day. How do you find 6,000 clams a day? What they do is they use these special whiskers called vibrissae. There's these whiskers called vibrissae. And what they do is they go down to the bottom, they stick their vibrissae in the sand, and they move their vibrissae into the sand, and they can feel the clams. And once they feel the clams in, then they just blow water, and that moves the sand away from the clam, and they grab it, eat it, spit it out. So these special whiskers are called vibrissae, and they're used to find the clams. Now, let's talk about the tusks. The tusks, both the males and females have tusks, and they're huge. They're up to 39 inches big. Why? Why do they have tusks? Why do they have tusks? Wrong answer. They're not for self-defense. Since they're pointed down, the only way you could use them as self-defense is go up like this. Well, if you go up like this, you can't see your predator. So they're not used as that. Look at it again. You see it? It's on ice. See, these things weigh 2,000 pounds, and they can't pull themselves out with their flippers. So what they use is their tusks as ice picks. They stick it in the ice, and then they pull it up. Stick it in the ice and pull it up. So there you go. That's the walrus. What they eat are clams, and they eat 6,000 clams a day. How they find the clams are their special whiskers called vibrissae. Both the males and females have tusks, and the tusks are used as ice picks. All right.